Looks like it's 10 o'clock. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our long coffee break mini-series. My name is Leroy Willow. Joining me today is the Director of Sales at Riptide, Ben Durfee. Riptide is a true cloud-based Daikin VRV platform that is app accessed via phone or tablet for ease of use. And I'm going to turn you over to Ben for an in-depth look.
Excellent. Thanks, Leroy. Yes, my name is Ben Durfee. I am the Director of Sales Operations here at Riptide. As Leroy mentioned, we are a cloud-based building management system specifically optimized around the Daikin VRV system. Now, our company was founded in 2009, based here in sunny Santa Barbara. And over the past decade, we've helped major brands across the country connect over 7,000 sites into cloud-based platforms so that they can easily access and manage their buildings from anywhere in a single platform. We've worked with Google, Nordstrom's, and Fifth Third Bank to help them solve the problems they were dealing with on multiple sites, multiple interfaces, and simplifying their lives. That was started on the fundamental basis that HVAC and HVAC service is still operating in the same manner that it has for so many years. We're waiting for facility managers to call up service providers who then have to put somebody in a truck and drive them to site just to see what the problem is. We wanted to bring all that remote diagnostics information and make it remote so that we're not driving technicians to site to see what the problem is. We're sending technicians to site to fix the problem. We are giving insight, crystal ball look into all the information of your VRV system so that they can go prepare with the right parts and the right knowledge to solve the problem on the first trip. We also wanted to simplify the user interface. There's too many complicated BAS systems out there, dated, chunky interfaces that end users find hard to use. They don't know how to interact with their system and do simple tasks like change set points or adjust schedules. The means are forced to go out to a service provider for every little thing, and it makes them disconnect. We want to bring a modern, intuitive user interface into the Daikin VRV and applied equipment. And lastly, we wanted to put everything on a mobile application so people can access this on the go. No more, having to go down to the electrical or mechanical room to go to a touchscreen or an old workstation that's in a single location. People aren't chained to their desks anymore, so they need to be able to operate. They need to be able to see what's going on their system and make adjustments on the fly, regardless of where they are, whether in the middle of a meeting and they want to do it underneath the table, or they're out on the boat fishing. With a mobile app, you have that access. It's a truly modern experience to meet the modern day technology that we're installing. So this is a layout of our Riptide architecture. In the middle, you see our Riptide hard. This is our edge device. It is installed on site, and here's our aggregator. It lets us communicate to BACnet and Modbus devices like Daikin Applied Equipment with Microtech 3 or other BACnet agreements, Modbus energy meters, and going on as far things like lighting and other BACnet controllers. We can also interface to an existing BAS system like KMC or Distech, either to take all of their information and visualize it into our cloud platform, but we can also take VRV information and push it over to the BAS system. All the data that's aggregated at the edge is pushed to our cloud, where we collate it with multiple locations, and then you can access that through our web and mobile applications to visualize and control your data. Now, our optimization around Daikin VRV is all about our Riptide VRF adapter. This is hardware we developed that sits directly on the communication bus of the Daikin VRV system and decodes and reads all the information being communicated by that VRV system. That means we can take high-level diagnostic, advanced VRV information, and simple end-user room controller information, bring it into our hub, and then present it in our cloud user interface to fully integrate with that Daikin VRV.
Hey, Ben, can you tell me how does the Riptide VRF interact with Daikin's interface, is known as the iTouch Manager?
Yeah, exactly. So the current offering by Daikin on the iTouch Manager, we wanted to be able to supersede that and add something that's going to give all that same functionality, but add more value, both to service provider and end users. So the first thing we did was model our installation off the same methodology. That's why you don't need to train your contractors something completely new. The same way they've been installing that iTouch manager, they can install the Riptide system by positioning one of our adapters on each one of the VRV networks and wiring it back to a common location. It's the exact same thing they're doing today, so they don't need to learn new tricks. But we wanted to bring something better and newer. So the iTouch Manager represented that old way, that touchscreen located in the mechanical room, that singular local workstation. Whereas with Riptide, we're bringing into the cloud interface that anywhere access the advanced UI features. So we're taking those functionalities that you might have used in there, logic for things like dual set point control, heating and cooling, as well as more advanced things like auto changeovers and giving different units different amount of weight in the today of what the system's doing. We've taken all that, put it into our system, and then moved it into our cloud application so you can access it anywhere. Now, what I'm going to show you now is our live application. So this is our web application. Like I said, we also have mobile apps for both the Google Play Store and the Apple iStore. This is our web application. This is live. This is right here on my browser. It can be used in any browser. No faulty issues like Flash or JavaScript running in the background. And when you first log in, you get this map overview. This is what you might see if you have a large portfolio, if you're someone like a Walgreens with multiple sites in an area. A school district would see perhaps just the building in their school districts, or if you just have a single building, it'd be the one building. This is sampling of the buildings I have access to in my system. You see red light, we're using kind of a red light, green light system. Green means it's all good. Red means you've got a fault or an error, a critical issue on that site that you might want to look into. We also use aggregation on these blue, so you can see down here in Tampa that there are 16 faults in that area. And if we click on it, we can quickly zoom in and start getting a more in-depth look at the buildings in that area and nailing into the problem. The idea here is that we're trying to help service providers and facility managers better manage their time. You talk to any facility manager, they'll say, oh, I used to look after one building, now I'm looking after 5 buildings. They didn't get more hours in their day. This helps them know where to spend their time so that they're looking at sites that have issues and actively acting on those issues, as opposed to waiting for those issues to come to them. Be raised by a tenant. Driving into an example site, we do have an inbuilt graphics generator. It's all drag and drop. It's no more complicated than building a PowerPoint slide. That lets you just drop real values on top of pictures, so you can create those typical BAS style graphics or floor plans like this. It allows people to log in, quickly see how their overall building is performing, and have a judge. If a room looks too hot, they can quickly delve down into that one particular unit and see what's going on. So right here, this is what we display as our VRV Quickview graphic for a VRV indoor unit. The idea is it looks like a thermostat. You don't need to train anybody on how to understand this image. An end user, a building administrator, they get this. It looks like their thermostat just at home. You've got click points to change their set point up and down. They can manipulate what the unit's doing, see if it's cooling or heating. It's straightforward. What this means is that the office administrator can adjust units without having to go to the local controller. If they know that there's a meeting going on, they can see that the room's getting hot. They can adjust the set point without going in and disrupting the meeting. They can turn the unit on half an hour before the meeting starts so that the room is at the right temperature. Putting this power in their hands is something they can understand, makes them feel connected and in control. This is where, on this other side though, we're gonna start getting that deeper diagnostic information. This is that crystal ball. This is that insight into everything the VRV system is doing that a service provider or advanced operator can use to know if there's any faults or issues. If there's a fault and they're called up, they can log in, start looking at what the unit's actually doing, getting all of that deep insight into the system.
And that's a lot of data, Dan. Is there a way that they can hold on to that stuff? How long do you keep it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are, as I said, a cloud-based system, which we're not constrained like a local workstation to our data storage. So we never get rid of data. When you add a point to our system, we begin trending and we hold that data for all time. So if you want to analyze your energy data over the last 5 years, you can do that. If you want to see what a unit was doing last week, you can do that. All the data is stored, it's free form, and it's never deleted, which means you always have access to it. And that's super important for diagnostics of what actually has gone wrong. This industry has been plagued by going out to site to fix a fault. And then you get there, you fix it, you get the unit running again, and they go to the building operator, well, system's running, and they say, well, what happened? What went wrong? They're like, well, I don't really know. It wasn't working when I got here, and that's the moment I started being able to pay attention about what was happening. So I can't give you that background information. Which means you're just fixing an issue. You're putting a Band-Aid on it. You're not actually getting to the root of the problem. What we have is two ways to show you that visualized data. We have this playback feature, which allows you to replay any custom graphic from any time so that you can start to see how that unit was actually operating at the time of the fault. You can watch live data change in front of you, so you don't have to guess at what was happening when that unit went into alarm. You can see it. You can watch how your pressures are changing, what the alarms were doing, what a compressor speed was doing. Lets you start getting that deeper insight and actually knowing what went wrong with the system. Empowers you to actually fix the problems. We also have an advanced charting tool, which lets you quickly generate useful charts to see what your system has been doing and building up useful information. These are dynamic. They can be built and manipulated on the fly. So you can start to see what systems were doing, how they were operating, looking back, seeing for spikes in energy consumption, spikes in pressure, things, building a fuller picture for that diagnostics of what you're doing.
Hey, Ben, is there any way that you can gather all this information and auto-deliver a report?
Yeah, you definitely can. So the same way we have a built-in graphics generator that's drag and drop, we have a report builder. This lets you design reports that are automatically delivered to a user's inbox, whether it's daily or weekly, to the information that they want. You can design enterprise reports to save them time. This could be energy consumption, or it might be something like monitoring critical condition spaces. This is an example of a pressure report that we do at a compounding pharmacy. They have compliance around the pressures of their room. So it means every morning this report is automatically delivered right to the inbox of a facility manager. They open it up. It takes them 10 seconds to digest this information. They can see what the average pressure was over the last 24 hours. Check this chart. They know the system was operating. They are compliant. They don't need to think about it anymore. They don't need to think about this again until the next morning when they spend 10 more seconds on it and know that they're operating. That means they can do the rest of their job. They don't have to waste time looking at spreadsheets, complicated CSVs to make sure that they're compliant. They've got it there and they can prove it. Now they have time to do their jobs. When things aren't going right, we need to be able to tell people and let them action it. So we have a very robust system with alerts. So we can set alerts around room temperatures out of condition. But we also do is we work really tightly and we've optimized around that Daikin VRV to provide the diagnostic codes, but in plain English that both end users can understand and service technicians. You know, telling somebody there's a U4 alarm, that means nothing to them. They don't know if that's a new version of a band or if it's something they need to action on. You need to give it in the plain text. So that's what we do. We'll say U4 alarm, indoor unit offline, system shutdown imminent, contact your service provider. This can be quickly shared, sent to your service provider so they get all the information right there. They know what to do, and they can attend site quickly to solve their problems. We also use email and text message alarms and notifications to get critical alarms off of the platform and right in front of the users the instant they happen so that they can be acted quickly. We can do digest alarms for daily consumption, or we can do escalation. So critical alarms like a chiller shutdown are actioned, and if they're not, they ensure that someone else is notified so you do correct them before those problems become major issues on site. It allows your system to keep running optimized the way it's supposed to. We've also brought all the scheduling to the cloud. This is incredibly important, not just for daily operation changes, but to be able to make quick adjustments to items like snow days, their unexpected shutdowns, or after hours events. Now you can change your building that was planned to go occupied into an unoccupied mode without having to waste time. So if you have an unexpected shutdown, you can stay in an unoccupied mode, reduce your energy costs, and stop wasting energy where you don't need to. Altogether, this remote connectivity allows you to have that 24-hour insight into your VRV system and put your VRV system on autopilot with Riptide.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Ben. Excellent information. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Please reach out to your local long salesman for any more information on Riptide. And please join us again next week for conditioning 100% outside air with Daikin water source heat pumps. Thanks for attending, everyone.